Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Max again, and today we're covering yet another abandoned amusement park. This one was in Wichita, Kansas. It was known as Joyland. Recently, the entire park was basically demolished, and I believe all that's left was their haunted house attraction, which is sad. This was a very well-known abandoned amusement park and one of the most beloved abandoned amusement parks in the urban exploration community. So today, in memory of Joyland, we're going to be taking a look at its legacy, its closing, its a period as an abandoned amusement park, and its eventual demolition. The Joyland Park opened in 1949. However, its history dates back quite a bit farther than that. The park was originally founded by a man named Lester Ottaway. He had two sons named Herbert and Harold, and they had recently purchased a locomotive train in 1933. The train had been part of a defunct amusement park, a completely different defunct amusement park, that operated somewhere in the time period between 1905 and 1910. Herb Ottaway, one of his sons, Herbert, completely restored the locomotive and began transporting the train to county fairs. The park, as we know it today, came into existence on June 12, 1949, because Harold wanted a place for the train to have a permanent home. So he decided to build that place in Kansas. In the 1950s, Lester Ottaway died, and his three sons, the two we already mentioned, Herb, Harold, and a new son named Eddie, continued running the train as a family operation. The next phase of Joyland's life came when the Ottaway brothers decided to retire in the early 1970s. They sold the park to Stanley and Margaret Nelson. Stanley, unfortunately, died in 2010, but he and Margaret ran the park for over 30 years and implemented a bunch of the rides that we see there today, including the Wacky Shack, which was the dark ride I was talking about earlier. That is one of the last surviving structures of the park. The park's troubles really began in April of 2004, when a 13-year-old girl fell 30 feet from a Ferris wheel. This prompted an investigation by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. The commission found some damning evidence, and due to economic problems and the safety concerns, the park was forced to close for the remainder of the 2004 season. The park remained closed for 2 years, until 2006, when a Seattle-based company leased the park to restore it and open up portions of it again. The park remained open for one season, but after more financial concerns began to bubble up, they closed it in 2006, and it has remained abandoned ever since. Since its closing, the park was covered in vandalism and looting. Every building was destroyed, nearly destroyed. It seemed as though every building had been tagged with graffiti in some way, and many windows were shattered. The place was a mess. After the park was abandoned, there was a few incidents that led to it being deemed unsafe to remain standing, including a fire in 2012, a windstorm that destroyed the roller coaster that I showed footage of earlier, and a theft where somebody stole the animatronic clown that used to play the organ in the park, and they couldn't find it, and it was this whole crazy case that I could spend a whole video on, but I'm just going to move on. So as many of you know, when I was on Google Earth for one of my videos, I looked up Joyland, Kansas, and I saw the entire thing had been basically leveled, and that shocked me. I had no idea that that had occurred, but yes, it's true. Joyland is pretty much gone at this point. Most of the buildings have been demolished. There are still a few that are left standing. That's because the Historical Society in Wichita, props to them, is keeping some of these structures standing, including the Wacky Shack. I think there's also keeping the horse and buggy thing. I don't know what that is. There was a horse and buggy attraction. We're keeping that alive too. not alive, but, you know, standing. So that's some good news out of all of this, but for the most part, the park is gone. And that's just the sad truth and the sad end to a once legendary park. Once the largest park in Kansas, one of the most popular parks in Kansas, it's gone. It's just gone forever. So this video, I just wanted to dedicate it to Joyland, to its history, not just when it was abandoned, but for the influence it had on the Wichita community and on the urban exploration community as a whole once it was abandoned. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm planning to make more of these because you guys seem to really love them, and I'll start cranking them out. So see you later.